Gentlemen, welcome. Let's start with you, Dennis. What was snooker like in those days when you first started?
Well, you had very little to play in, Gary. All you would do was your exhibitions, really. That was the way you tried to make a living when you turned professional. As you mentioned, I turned pro in 1972. And you just went round the country playing for 15, 20 quid a night. And that was what you did. You only had one championship really to go at, and that was the World Championship. So everything centred around that. And if you had a bad run in the World Championship, well, then you had to wait another year again. So it was tough graft back in the early days.
Did you wonder what you were going in for with so little around?
Well, it was something I always wanted to do anyway. I moved over to England when I was 17, over to my aunts in Blackburn, not to play snooker. I came over just purely to work. And then when I went in the local club, I found out I was as good as the top amateurs there. So then I started to play quite a bit. And then, of course, I met up with Alex Higgins when I won the British Junior Billiards Championship when I was 18. And my club from Northern Ireland brought me back to play an exhibition. And who did I play? The All-Ireland snooker champion, who was Alex Higgins. We were both 18 when we first played together. And I never thought that I'd earn a living at the game. But what a living I've had out of the game. And it's just been so good to have been playing the game that you spent all your money learning how to play, and to finish up playing in front of millions on television was just unbelievable.
Who won that game, that first game with Higgins?
Do you know, I can't remember because we had a billiards player as well, and I can't remember. Alex probably won it. We only played a couple of frames, I think.
Let's talk about some of the great stars when you entered the game as well, Steve. What do you remember about them?
Well, for me, I mean, my roots go not through the snooker clubs, but the working men's clubs. And obviously a lot of snooker's history has been played out on the television. But for me, the memories are coming through the ranks, the bubbling under as a junior player and as an amateur. And my roots, as I say, the working men's clubs. And I do remember everybody will be watching Pot Black, talking about it. I don't think at the time we even realised it was recorded. That's how stupid it was in those days. And I remember when I did go on the show, a mate of mine asked me who won, and then proceeded to bet some of the other guys in the club, make a few quid. So the following year I told him the wrong person, got his own back. But we'd just sit there and watch every Wednesday or Tuesday night and then talk about it the next day. And on the strength of that, whoever won Pot Black was the effective world champion. And he could then charge quite a lot of money for doing exhibitions. And I remember Ray Reardon and Graham Miles coming down to my club, Plumstead Common Working Men's Club. And it was just a big event. But at the same time, you're learning the game, you're playing in pro-ams around the country, starting to make a bit of a name for yourself if you're lucky. But really it was the love of the game. And that's all it was to start with, until all of a sudden, television took it by the scruff of the neck, really took it by the scruff of the neck around the time we're talking, 77, 78. And then overnight, we were shown like a Wimbledon-style world championship and the game went silly. But my memories of the players were they were gods. Ray Reardon was turned up an hour and a half late. We're all just sitting there around the table waiting for him. And then we were so pleased when he turned up. Nobody booed. Graham Miles never won the World Championship. I think he got in the final and he won Pot Black. He was a hero coming down to the club. And they were the things I think I remember, the bubbling under days. And for me, when you look at all the things you've been playing on the television, even though they're fantastic, the early memories sometimes are the sweetest.
Joe, when you were looking in on this, who were the guys who were really impressing you? Who were your heroes?
Well, as Steve has already mentioned, Gary, it was the love of the game that got us all involved, because there was no money in the game at that time. In fact, I think we were earning more as amateurs than probably the professionals were. There was lots of money matches, and I remember John Virgo once putting in one of the snooker magazines, the gauntlet is down, and he challenged everybody for £50 a night, £100 a night, and it was those type of tournaments that got us involved in the game. And of course my heroes would have been Alex Higgins, when he won the title in '72, John Spencer and Ray Reardon. They were people that, as Steve said, we looked up to as gods. It was really something to aim for, but there was no money in the game, so it was pure love of the sport that got us involved, all of us involved at the time.
So you're playing at a snooker hall in Romford, which is owned by Barry Hearn.
Yeah.
Well, he's the chairman. And he's recommended by Vic Harris, an amateur, that he should look at this Steve Davis. Was this a big turning point, do you think?
Well, the game was going through a lot of changes. Barry Hearn, sometimes, right place, right time fits into the whole equation. And Barry was an entrepreneur who got involved in snooker clubs as an accountant and bought into snooker clubs. Whether he saw the potential in the game is debatable, but what happened was he realised how much fun he was having around the snooker circuit. So I turned up at Romford, which was a 2-hour bus ride from Plumstead, the other side of the water, to play against a better quality opposition than I could get. Bumped into Vic Harris, Essex champion, who then recommended me to Barry Hearn to watch. I played in an event, won it in-house event. The next thing, Barry Hearn is organising small exhibitions around the country as part of the prize money. Next minute, Barry thinks, I love the world of snooker. Alex Higgins comes down to play Vic Harris, John Spence, he hires every player to come down to play us all, as happened for all the players in their area. Before long, Barry started to think, I want to be involved in the snooker world. And then it went from strength to strength, because luckily I got better as well. So he had something to be involved in and to follow. But I think that was probably happening all over the country. And it had happened really on the amateur level, bubbling under. And proof of that was that Pontins put a snooker tournament on for a week, which was like a pilgrimage to Prestatyn. The whole of the snooker world drove to Prestatyn, not only to play in this 1 week event, but also to meet our heroes. And there would have been the top players, including Dennis at the time, because you're a bit older than me. And we'd all turn up to meet the guys we'd seen on Pot Black and to rub shoulders with them and to possibly, if you were lucky enough, play one of them. The first bloke I played, John Pullman, he'd made a bit of a comeback. He got off the wagon. He made a bit of a comeback. I qualified through my part of the draw to play John Pullman in the draw. I thought, I've got a chance against him. I had the 3-piece suit on, tie, 10 o'clock in the morning. John had been on the piss all night that long. He turned up, he had a pair of trousers that he'd worn the night before, a crumpled up old shirt, and he beat me 4-1. It just destroyed me. I thought, this is a slightly better level than I know.
Yeah.
Do you know, I remember that Pontins, because there was 8 professionals, the top players off Pot Black, and amateurs from all over the country, and their families used to congregate. And everybody would be walking around with the snooker cue. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning and they're walking around with the snooker cue. And I remember heading back to my chalet, because the whole family used to go. Doug Mountjoy, Terry Griffiths, myself, we always used to get chalets together and all the family would play together. But I'm heading back it must have been 1 o'clock in the morning with McHugh. And I thought I'll look into the snooker room just to see, because the place was buzzing, everybody was practicing. And I've seen this fella clear the table. You know, I'm only looking through a little hole in the door. Cleared the table, and I thought I'll watch a bit longer. Cleared the table again, and this fella had sleeves rolled up, long ginger hair. It was Mr. Davis here, and at the time I thought, well, I hope I never see him again, but I think I've seen him quite a few times.
Yes, there were some terrific matches there, wasn't there, Dennis? I remember Alex Higgins playing Terry Griffiths, who was giving him 21 start. And I'd played Alex Higgins a few times, few money matches as an amateur. He always seemed to win. He was always giving start to the amateurs. And I went into the toilet in the interval with Alex, and I said to him, well done, Big A. He was winning. And he stormed out of the toilet saying, don't call me a big head. And we didn't speak for about 2 years. He totally misinterpreted what I said.